Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the invisible infrastructure that is literally constantly monitoring our world. I mean, just think about your day-to-day life for a second, right? We live completely surrounded by signals, data, and communications. We're firing off messages, making calls, browsing the web, but we rarely stop to think about the physical reality of where all that information actually goes. Well, behind the convenience of all our modern communication lies this highly structured, remarkably silent system operating right above our heads and right under our noses. Let's reveal exactly how it all works. So let's dive right in with a massive, fundamental question regarding global intelligence. Who is listening to the planet? When you send a secure text or maybe a military base half a world away transmits some classified order, we kind of just assume those signals travel cleanly from point A to point B. But actually, those signals are bouncing through the atmosphere. They're traveling through cables, bouncing off satellites. They definitely don't just disappear into the ether once they leave your device. The answer to who is actively capturing them is way more complex, highly organized, and honestly, physically massive than almost anyone realizes. We are talking about a true silent architecture. Picture these absolutely massive, iconic white domes strategically placed in remote locations all around the globe. Honestly, they look almost like something straight out of science fiction, but their purpose is totally grounded in reality. These structures are capable of capturing just an astonishing range of signals. We're talking about silently monitoring everything from high-stakes international missile launches all the way down to private, everyday conversations. It's a dragnet of staggering proportions. It doesn't just listen for the big events. It captures the macro and the micro of global human activity, all at the exact same time. Let's start with Section 1, the anchor points, grounding the network. To really understand this sprawling network, we have to look at where these abstract signals hit reality, at highly secure ground facilities. Take RAF Menwith Hill and Pine Gap, for example. These bases function as global interception nodes. And, they aren't just your standard military outposts or simple radio towers. No, these are the colossal physical ears of the entire operation. They're deeply rooted in very specific geographic locations chosen, definitely not by accident, to absolutely maximize their global reach. These nodes are where vast oceans of intercepted atmospheric data are processed, sorted, and analyzed by intelligence agencies every single day. Moving right along to Section 2, the mechanics, how Echelon works. So the operational core of all this infrastructure is Echelon. By definition, Echelon is a global interception system that uses satellites and radio quiet zones to intercept mass communications. And really notice that key phrase, mass communications. It's a technological marvel specifically designed to be a massive dragnet. It isn't meticulously listening to just one targeted person. It's effectively vacuuming up incredible volumes of unencrypted data right out of the atmosphere. And to do this without just drowning in static, it heavily relies on the absolute quiet of highly controlled geographical zones to clearly hear the faintest electronic whispers falling from space. The flow of all this data is incredibly precise. Step 1. An initial signal transmission happens somewhere on Earth. Now, this could be a phone call, a massive data transfer, or even a radio broadcast. Step 2. As that signal naturally travels outward, it gets intercepted up in space by a highly advanced coordinated network of orbiting satellites. Step 3. Those satellites beam that intercepted data right back down, routing it specifically into those designated radio quiet zones we just talked about. These locations are perfectly isolated from everyday earthly interference, which allows the facilities to receive the data crystal clear, totally free from the noise of commercial cell towers or civilian radio broadcasts getting in the way. And this brings us to a really fascinating paradox at the absolute heart of the whole intelligence system. You have this giant, totally unmissable hardware, these massive white domes that you can literally see from miles away across a desert or a field, yet they are built entirely to capture completely silent, invisible data streams. The sheer, undeniable physical size of the machinery stands in such a stark contrast to the invisible nature of the secrets they're actually designed to collect. It's loud, bold engineering designed for the absolute quietest form of theft. And finally, Section 3, the human vulnerability, wetware versus hardware. As we zoom all the way down from those orbiting global satellites and massive ground stations, we arrive at the most intimate and honestly fragile vulnerability in any intelligence network. We're looking at two entirely different arenas of information warfare here. On one hand, you have the massive technological dominance of digital interception via a system like Echelon. Hacking networks, grabbing digital streams from space, and relying on billions of dollars of complex hardware. But contrasting that entirely is social engineering, which is the subtle psychological art of manipulating human beings. One attacks the machine, but the other attacks the mind operating the machine. And the difference in cost and execution between the two, it's just staggering. Social engineering relies purely on psychological manipulation. And what that means is it completely bypasses those fortified computer networks entirely. It directly targets the human mind to gain confidential information. Just think about the incredible efficiency of that for a second. Intelligence operatives can bypass billions of dollars of cutting-edge surveillance equipment, firewall defenses, and satellite arrays simply by manipulating basic human nature, like trust, fear, or the desire to be helpful, to extract the exact same confidential information from a person on the inside. It completely shifts the entire theater of intelligence gathering. As the research notes, psychological manipulation is used to gain confidential information without ever hacking a computer. And that is a profound realization. You don't always need a multi-billion-dollar satellite network operating in a remote, radio-quiet zone to steal a closely guarded national secret or a piece of corporate intellectual property. Sometimes a strategically crafted conversation, a fake delivery person, or a cleverly manipulated employee does the exact same trick, entirely under the radar. So, it leaves us with this huge question. What is the ultimate intelligence weapon? Is it the sprawling global satellite network of Echelon, capable of hearing a digital whisper from space, or is it the manipulated human mind, capable of willingly handing over the keys to the kingdom? We can build the most advanced, silent architecture imaginable. We can fill fields with massive white domes and fill our orbit with listening devices. But human nature? Well, human nature will always remain the oldest and perhaps the most effective backdoor in the world. Keep questioning the systems around you, and thanks for joining this explainer.